Another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I will detail the story of how a friendship turned deadly. The Rollin 20 Crips are a notorious Crip gang in the city of Long Beach, California. The city often gets mentioned as being a Crip city. and the Rollin 20 Crips are a premier Crip gang and one of the biggest in Long Beach. The gang is located on the east side of Long Beach off the Pacific Coast Highway from 10th Street to 21st Street. The 20 Crips have several rivals, like one of the other bigger Crip gangs in the city, being the Insane Crips. The Insane Crips and the Rollin 20 Crips would become a top rival to each other, but both gangs shared a close relationship at a point that soured by the 80s. This war became deadly, with the Rollin 20 Crips claiming territory south of 21st Street and the Insanes claiming territory north of 21st Street, making them rivals just down the street from each other. The Rollin 20 Crips are also deadly rivals of the Longos, a Hispanic gang in Long Beach that majority fused with black, Polynesian, and Asian gangs. But sometimes your enemies from other gangs are not the only people you need to worry about. Sometimes it's your own homies. And that leads us to this story. Daron and Jamal were close friends. They were both from the Rollin 20 Crips. In April 2013, they also just happened to be dating sisters, Tony and Taquasha. Daron had a young son with Tony, and Jamal just started dating Taquasha. On April 20th, 2013, the two couples attended a funeral together. After the funeral, they arrived back at Taquasha's house. Daron and Jamal then left in Tony's car for a few hours. When they came back, Taquasha and Jamal dropped Daron off at his house. Later, Jamal called Daron accusing him of taking his PlayStation. Daron believed Jamal had agreed to let him borrow it. Taquasha drove Jamal to a house the Rollin 20s used as a hangout on Phillip Street to pick up the PlayStation from Daron. When they arrived, Daron was waiting for them outside. Daron gave the PlayStation to Jamal, who exited the car and began to fight with Daron. Jamal quickly knocked Daron to the ground. Daron then shot Jamal approximately 14 times when Jamal tried to get back in the car. Taquasha, who was driving the car, flagged down nearby officers who were conducting an unrelated investigation. The officers rushed Jamal to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was only 18 years old. Officers returned to Phillip Street where they took Daron in. He was 20. He was booked on suspicion of murder and was being held at Long Beach City Jail without bail. At trial, Taquasha, Daron, and an eyewitness testified. Daron admitted to shooting Jamal, but he testified it was in self-defense. He said he knew Jamal had a temper and had committed violent crimes. Daron also knew Jamal kept a gun in the car and believed he was trying to reach for his gun after the fight. Taquasha acknowledged that Jamal often kept a gun in her car. She testified they drove her aunt's car to get the PlayStation because her own car began to overheat earlier in the day. She also testified that Daron warned Jamal prior to the fight, stating, "Wait a minute, let me put my gun down." After the fight, Taquasha heard Daron say to Jamal, "Is that how you gonna do me? Is that how you gonna do me?" before shooting him multiple times. The medical examiner testified that Jamal had alcohol, PCP, and weed in his system at the time of his death. The defense argued in closing that Jamal had a reputation for violence and having committed violent crimes and was known to carry a weapon, and as a result, Daron was justified in shooting him. The jury rejected Daron's defense, finding him guilty of second-degree murder, and further finding he personally and intentionally discharged the firearm, which caused great bodily injury and death. Daron was later sentenced to a total term of 60 years to life. Something as simple as a PlayStation ended a friendship and led to a death. This is just another unfortunate tale of the streets. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like.
Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to React and Relate. For reacting and relate. Alright. This will be the end. See y'all later.